So a while back I put together a video on 360 Magnum that I'm putting together for my Duster, and I'm using actually aluminum LA heads. Now anybody that's familiar with the small block Mopar situation knows the LA will oil the Valvetrain through the rocker shafts, through some holes in the head, and unfortunately the Magnum blocks don't come with a provision for that kind of oiling. So what I decided to do, I was just going to use the Magnum pushrod oiling and basically backfeed the LA oiling system. It's all identified out what I did and how I did it in the other video, which I'll try and link to this one. But anyway, I'm just going to show you here what I've found. It works. There's a couple things that you got to pay attention to and be aware of just with the hardware that I chose for the job. Anyway, there was a lot of interest in my last video. If this one's interesting to you, just stick around. We'll go through everything that I learned about it. And stick around to the end because there's a little blurb about the lessons that I learned about this whole project. Now, my first bit of trouble came in with push rods. My factory Magnum push rods are just a little bit too long for the rocker arms that I have. And I got myself a push rod checker and I measured up what I thought I needed and I ordered them, and they're just a little, they're on the verge of being too short. I believe I'm going to be able to make them work, but I'll go through that with you and I'll explain to you exactly why that is and what to look out for, just to make sure you're getting the proper oiling from, because it comes out of the push rods like a Joe Dam. I mean, that's the way it was designed. It's just making sure that you're going to get it back through the rest of the oiling system. That's the bit of a trick, but I'm here to tell you it does work. Now this is the push rod adjuster. Hopefully, yeah, you can see it right there. That's the hole where oil comes out of the end of the push rod and brings oil into the system, and it comes out through here and into the rocker arm that way. Now I'll try and show you in the rocker arm how it gets into the rocker arm and that end of it. It's a little bit, you got to make sure that when you've got your valves, your rocker set correctly, that these are in the right position. And that's the first time I put it together, I had a little bit of trouble. I was getting oil in some of them and I wasn't getting it in others. And I come to realize that this is why. So you can see down in there, the hole in the middle of the threaded part in that rocker arm. That is where the oil comes out of the adjuster and into the rocker arm. So that hole has to be lined up with that band in the adjuster to make sure that you've got proper oil flow. That's where I struggled the first time I put it together. They just weren't quite meshed, or they weren't quite in the right spots. And if you knew this ahead of time when you were measuring your push rods, it wouldn't be an issue and you would know. You'd be smarter than me and you'd just figure it out. But anyway, that was my issue, and I'm just going to set it up the way I'm pretty dang sure that it's going to be good, and I'll show you the oil flow, and we'll talk about that end of it. Well, I got it all together, and it's better, but it still ain't no damn good. So I've got completely different set of rockers. I'm going to see if I can work something up and make that work. I'm getting oil. It's just not traveling through the rocker arms on some of them. Like these two get oil like you would not freaking believe, and then these two don't. Well, actually, this one got some. These two get mediocre oil. These two get mediocre oil. But like this one, it's just gushing out of there just like I would have expected. And it's similar to the same, but not necessarily in the same locations at the front. Now, the lifters should all get equal opportunity at oil. So I don't know what the hell. I'm pushing like 60 pounds of oil pressure from the drill running the oil pump. So I'm not lacking oil, of that I can assure you. But anyway, I'm gonna jib up these other rockers and see if we can make a difference there. So I've come to the realization that I just ordered too short of push rods. It was pretty apparent that the adjusters were screwed too deep into the rocker arm, and I even had somebody mention that as a comment on one of my previous videos, that they felt that they were a little bit too deep. And you know what, that's 100% true. The band, the machined out band in the adjuster is just gone beyond the oiling hole in the rocker arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order some longer push rods again. Ordered push rods once, now I'm going to order them again. So anyway, hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and you won't have to spend a whole bunch of extra money. Now, while I'm waiting for my longer push rods, because I'm going to do it, I'm going to buy them because I have to prove to myself that this was the problem. But I also have a set of comp roller rockers, and I'm looking at them and it's looking as though they should be able to work with a slightly longer push rod. And I'm hoping upon hope that that comp roller rocker and the factory Magnum push rod are going to be just the particular cat's ass for making this whole setup work. So we'll try that, and we'll go from there. So this here is the comp roller rocker arms and the stock Magnum push rods. And when I've got this thing now so that it'll run. I've got these on here so that it doesn't puke oil all over the place, and I'm actually testing it by running it. And I've got nice oil everywhere, so I'm 100% confident this is going to work. I would venture a guess that this is probably the best, cheapest way to do it. Just stock push rods and these comp roller rocker arms. But you know what? I'm still gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna see if that slightly longer push rod will make those other rocker arms work. I'm 100% confident that it will. So that's it for now. I'll give you an update when I get my new push rods in, just to confirm that that was the problem. Now, I've got this thing with the comp roller rockers set up in here, and they're working really well. That's the way I'm going to leave it for now. But once I get my other push rods in and I got time to dick around, the motor will be in the car by then, I'm sure. But I just got to move on to other projects. A couple of the key things that I wanted to mention: if you're going to be successful doing this whole deal with the LA heads on the Magnum Block and the push rod oiling, it's really not that big of a deal. It's not rocket science. One thing, it's not absolutely necessary, but it's definitely beneficial to block off the original oiling holes in the rocker shafts. You just end up with a whole bunch more oil stuck up in the top end of your engine that you don't need. It allows the oil to be where it needs to be and not in a whole bunch of unnecessary places. So that's a big part of it. And another big thing is you got to make sure that you've got a clear path for your oil from the push rod through the rocker shaft and then out wherever the oil hole is. The comp rocker arms, they actually oil just below the arm, the roller arm, and the other ones, they oil out the top of the rocker arm. To be perfectly honest with you, The comp roller rockers are better in pretty much every way, but I do think that I prefer the idea of having it oil through the top and then just kind of goob oil down the whole rocker arm and oil the roller that way. But anyway, it is what it is. There may not, at least not yet, be a perfect rocker arm, or at least not that I've found. So I'm going to keep at this. I'm going to keep messing around with this, but it's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot of stuff, and hopefully this benefits you. Big thing, just be real careful when you're measuring those push rods. That's probably one of the most important deals, because that's really what ensures that your oil is going to come right through your rocker arm the way it's supposed to be. Thanks for watching.